Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode. Yes, after 3 years, a brand new episode of Life Discussions with Ross Hardy. By my count, this is episode 6, and on this episode, I'm going to be talking about something that I didn't think I was going to, but I thought I have a good perspective on this type of thing, so let's do it. I'm going to be talking about my personal thoughts / philosophies on religion and spirituality. First of all, let me just start by saying that yes, I am a believer in God, but I consider myself to be more spiritual than religious. If that's all that you wanted to find out, then I guess you may as well just turn off the video right now, but hopefully you'll stick around for the rest of this. I'm more spiritual than religious. I'm also very different compared to pretty much all other Christians, I would say. Unlike many who put God first before anything else, for instance, as much as I love him, I put my close friends and family first, especially my grandparents, who I absolutely love and worship with all my heart above anything else. I used to go to a small church nearby my house at Mannering Park in New South Wales, Australia. It was there where I met a great man by the name of Bruce and another great man named Ken, who was almost like a second grandfather to me. He was that much of an amazing person. Maybe one day I will go again, but with life being so busy, like with having to work Sundays, for instance, it's made it hard to go back. But yeah, I mean, I need to earn money, as do a lot of other people. So I want to break down some of my personal philosophies on religion, both pros and cons, because I feel that both exist when it comes to this. So when I used to go to church, it gave me a sense that I was doing something nice for myself, and being around other nice, mostly elderly people who I've had more of a sense of belonging around than most people my own age, that made me feel really good. Admittedly though, every time I went there, most of the time I wasn't even donating anything to the collection plate because I couldn't really afford to, but I was thankfully still welcomed just as much as anyone else, which is awesome, and it's the way it should be. Now, I have to say, had that been a bigger church like Hillsong, who I've heard charge $300 for certain seats, I definitely wouldn't be allowed to get away with that for sure without dropping any money. But in all honesty, to me, big churches like that are more about business and money, more so than God or Jesus, which is why you would never see me go to anything like Hillsong. Even when I used to go to the small church near my home, even around everyone else, I still felt more comfortable keeping my views to myself, and I always will, besides the recording of this podcast, of course. Because I'm a firm believer that religious views are best kept to ourselves, even in an environment where we have common faith. But the nice thing was, all the elderly people and myself would all talk about other things in life, such as work, after the service ended during morning tea, which was always nice. There are also many instances where people can have troubles in their lives and then find religion as a way to make peace within themselves. In my opinion, a large majority of mistakes can be forgiven, but only as long as the person makes an effort to be better and not repeat the same mistakes. However, I also firmly believe that there are certain things like murder, for instance, that do not deserve any forgiveness whatsoever, and I do not believe that God would forgive anyone for that either. There seems to be a notion with many Christians in hating gay people or believing that marriage should only be between a man and a woman, and if it's not, then someone should change the name of it, which, in my opinion, is absolutely absurd. First of all, I have several friends who are homosexual who either go to church or believe in God and feel that he does not hate them. Secondly, I feel that anyone who is actually a proper human being all deserve love and respect no matter their preferences, and I believe God would feel the same way too. In my opinion, any Christian who is against homosexuals or homosexuality have honestly got it all wrong. And just imagine if they end up having a son or daughter who turns out to be gay. Would they feel that disowning them is the only way to go? Sad thing is, there are ridiculous things that exist like hypnotherapy to help try and cure the homosexuality out of them, and again, that to me is absolutely insane. It's been a long debated topic about whether religion has played a part in many of the wars that have taken place over the years. Truth be told, it has to a degree, but it's one of many other things like money and power. Even though I may be in the minority when I say this, but I don't care, I honestly believe that religion is not to blame as much as those other things for wars, and I'll tell you why. Because there is no godly or spiritual force that ever took control over any single person or that ever made another human being kill another. No, what happened was mankind killed mankind through its own selfish quest for greed and power. Again, there's no denying whatsoever that religion has played a part in some of the wars, but like I said, it never physically took control over anyone else. See what I'm saying? The people did that themselves. Another thing that I want to address is that even as a believer, with all the bad things that go on in the world that I absolutely hate, the social status standings where the rich get rich and the poor like me stay poor, all the illness, sickness, and all the deaths that we must endure, I completely understand why many people find it hard to believe in a higher power, and I would never question anyone as to why they don't, because I don't need to. And no, I do not believe for a single second that the afterlife is not available for those who don't believe. To me, the fact that all these things go on in the world is proof that no man or deity is in complete control of what goes on. Otherwise, they wouldn't let any of the bad things happen. But more than anything, I blame humanity for letting things happen in the world, like putting the rich on a pedestal and making people like me feel like we are worthless pieces of garbage, for things like destruction of the environment, and for having big pharmaceutical companies that, in my opinion, could have the cure to many diseases and illnesses, but that's not where the money is. So if people don't get sick, they won't be making anywhere near as much money as what they do. There are so many things wrong in the world and society that have nothing to do with religion at all. So then, with all that said, why do I continue to believe? Well, due to some personal experiences, for instance at my house, I've had things go missing and then reappear without any other explanation. That to me is a sign. You don't have to believe me, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Another thing that I want to mention, I'm not a fan of the idea at all of having to live by restrictions and rules. Again, I may be in the minority for this, but I don't care at all. I firmly believe that you can still be religious and not have to follow every single rule to the T. If you want to have sex before marriage, go right ahead. I mean, that's how you get closer to someone. See, I know this is controversial, but to me, following a religion is like most other things. You can agree to disagree on how you think that your life needs to be lived. In my opinion, as long as you are a good person who treats others properly, doesn't have to tear others down in order to make yourself feel better or build yourself up, that's the main thing that matters. I believe that God would want us all to live our lives to the best of our abilities and enjoy it as much as we can. This has been Life Discussions with Ross Hardy. Once again, thank you very much for listening. Please feel free to leave any comments if you wish, but please note that as always, anything stupid will just be deleted, as I have no time for bullshit, and I have no time for any arguments or pointless debates. Thanks again for listening, everyone, and I wish you all the very best with your lives wherever you are in the world. Take care.